Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this quick video just looking at some of the quirky things that came out of the draft split, draft extension. It's not a complete list by any means, but it's just a few things that I jotted down and I noticed as the split was happening, or the draft was happening I should say. So I've got about 10 points that I just want to go through. I've got my notes down here. But just before I started recording this, it was some breaking news about the commentary teams. So the Raw commentary team is Corey Graves, Michael Cole, Byron Saxton. The Smackdown commentary team is David Otunga, JBL, and Muro Ranillo. Now, I like those teams. I think they've been freshened up. I think there's redeeming features like Corey Graves on Raw, and obviously I've not heard David Otunga, but Muro I know is a fantastic commentator. So both shows have got something that I'm interested in from a commentary point of view. And honestly, I really wasn't interested in the current or previous Raw commentary team. No place in there for Jerry the King Lawler, which I think is a shame. You know, he is a legend, and we'll have to see what the future holds for him. I think it's probably likely that he'll move on to the pre-show panels, so he'll be on there with the likes of Booker T, Renee Young, and Lita. But yeah, as I say, you know, we'll have to see. So let's get to this list. It's not in any kind of order, but just a few things that I wanted to share with you guys, a few thoughts. So I've got at number 10, the New Day against the Wyatts at Battleground. Who does Braun Strowman help? Because Braun Strowman is no longer part of the Wyatt family because he's been drafted to Raw. Who's on Raw? The New Day. So is Braun Strowman going to help those that are on his brand? You know, this is meant to be competition between Raw and Smackdown, or is he going to stay loyal to the family even though he's not part of that family anymore because Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt are both on Smackdown? So we'll have to see. My feeling is that he'll help the family and then that's it, he's gone for good. But I wouldn't be surprised if he turned on them at the end. You know, he could help them win the tag titles and then turn on them. So we'll have to see. I think also the fact that I don't know what happens with rematch clauses and things along those lines, because if the Wyatts do take the tag titles over to Smackdown, can the New Day get a rematch on those? How would that work? Do they appear on Smackdown? Do they have to go to Smackdown for it? Or, don't know, little bit messy. So we'll have to see. There's been no news or nothing that I've seen about extra belts and championships being made. So at the moment, it just seems like the titles stay where the titles are. So Battleground, I think, is going to be extra interesting as a result. At number 9, I've got Gallows, Anderson, and Finn Balor. Probably the most exciting part of the draft for me. Are those guys now going to form Balor Club? I'm really not sure if they're going to come together. They've obviously got a big history, all, you know, Bullet Club in New Japan, but we'll have to see if that is what they're going to do. I heard that the Balor Club trademark had been abandoned, so it wasn't something that WWE were pursuing. So we'll have to see what comes of it, because I just thought it was interesting that Gallows, Anderson, Finn Balor all on the same roster, but no AJ Styles. Number 8, why was Paige and Alberto Del Rio drafted to different shows? Now, I know it shouldn't matter, and I think they're still in a relationship, but I think it's been, you know, from what I've seen rumoured and reported, it's been quite a problematic relationship. There's been a lot of arguing and a bit of trouble. Like Paige was seen getting arrested after, I think it was Money in the Bank, and I heard that might have been connected to an argument that she was having that got out of control with Alberto Del Rio. Now all of this is just rumours, but Lana and Rusev haven't been split, and Maurice and Miz weren't split, but Paige and Del Rio have been. You would just think that if they are in a relationship, it's got to be better for them to be travelling around together. So I just thought that was interesting, because even if they are in a relationship, they can't be best pleased at WWE, because now they're just going to be on completely different tours, completely different rosters. I don't know. Maybe they requested it. Maybe that's good for them. Maybe, you know, being around each other all the time is, you know, not beneficial. But I don't know. It just stuck out at me as a little bit weird. Number 7. Why did no one choose a single NXT champion? How have we found ourselves in the situation where Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Nia Jax have been chosen over the current women's champion, Asuka? How? Samoa Joe, you know, didn't get called up. How? You know, his experience, he's the current NXT champion. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura is a real surprise because he's really been shifting merchandise. But if they don't want to go that way, fair enough, they don't want to go that way. You know, all the tag teams they need, they called up Mojo so that he could, well, I believe, partner Zack Ryder on Smackdown. But they haven't called up the current tag team champions, who are the Revival. I found that very, very weird. Not a single NXT champion. Number 6, where were Heath Slater, Tamina Snuka, Emma, Luke Harper, Undertaker, Ryback? These names didn't appear at all in the draft. Now, I know that a lot of those are injured, but Neville is injured as well. You know, he's not made an on-screen return. I think he's done some house shows, but to the casual viewers, he's off injured. And yet he was still on there. I don't think that Emma is too far away. Heath Slater's not injured. Ryback looks like they're just seeing out his contract. Undertaker, who does he fight for? You know, are we saying he definitely is once a year, if that? Or are there bigger problems? Because he took his gloves off in the centre of the ring, which is a sign that, you know, I'm done. I'm taking my gloves off, leaving them in the ring. And then he didn't appear on the European tour that he was advertised for. Just wondering if they've got a few problems with Undertaker, because I seem to recall he was a name that was part of the draft, pre-draft. Number 5, why did Roman and the Usos get drafted to separate brands? It was spoken about, I believe, by Renee Young with the Usos. She was saying you guys started to feel the heat, you know, when you were the family and you were with Roman, you were starting to get booed. I don't think they want the Usos to get booed. I think they want them to stay, you know, a good PG, kid-friendly tag team. I'm just wondering if they've kept them separate because Roman's toxic. Roman Reigns is toxic, and they don't want him to contaminate the Usos. Otherwise, wouldn't you keep the option of the family? Wouldn't you keep that strong? I don't know. I'm just wondering if Roman is actually an abandoned Vince McMahon experiment, because he was relatively low down in the draft. I can tell you that he was the 6th name drafted. He was the 4th pick for Raw. You know, that's not a good sign for the person that they've spent 2 years making the face of the place. It's not worked, and part of this draft for me was them acknowledging it hasn't worked. Why was Apollo Cruz so low down? I can tell you that he was selected after Summer Rae, Jack Swagger, and The Ascension. He was like number 40 something in the picks. This is someone that we've seen on a regular basis on Raw and on Smackdown since his call-up, which was the night after WrestleMania. We keep being told is the next big thing. And yet when push came to shove, he was announced on the network show all the way down in the ranking. Doesn't bode well for him. So we'll have to see, unless they're trying to, you know, build him up from absolute scratch. Clearly he's not gained any traction at this stage, so But then he got brought up too soon, simple as that. When he got brought up, I can remember a lot of people saying, that doesn't really make much sense. And I'm sorry, but Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss and Carmella, I have got no problems with one of those getting called up. But all three, that was half of the 6 picks that were allowed. You know, there was 6 NXT picks and they turned out to be Finn Balor, American Alpha, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax and Mojo Rawley. Pretty uninspiring, to tell the truth. I don't see why all 3 of them got called up, and I just think it is too soon. But clearly they've felt the need to fill out the women's rosters on both shows. Why did they split the Social Outcasts? And there's a second part to this question. Have they split the Social Outcasts? They made a big deal when Bo Dallas was drafted on the network show, and you had Heath and Curtis celebrating. I think it was JoJo that turned around and went, no, it's only Bo. Shortly after that, Curtis Axel gets drafted, and then basically the whole draft finishes with Heath Slater kind of looking around at all these empty chairs, and he's sat there. Don't know what it means for Heath. Is this the end for Heath? Is that a way of him bowing out? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. So, because they were drafted separate, does that mean Social Outcasts are finished? Do we now get Bo and Curtis in a tag team? Or are they singles competitors? My gut feeling is that they're singles competitors, because currently there are 6 tag teams on Raw and there are 6 tag teams on SmackDown. There's no need to make a 7th. So I think the Social Outcasts have been split, but I'm none the wiser as to what's going to happen with Heath Slater. Number 2, where does Bayley fit in? I kind of know where Bayley fits in, or I feel I know where she should fit in. I think she gets announced as the mystery partner. Absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that. It is a little bizarre that no one picked her. There was, it's all well and good Sasha calling up Bayley, but why did not one of the brands take Bayley first? It would have made more sense for Bayley to have been called up in the draft and Sasha to have gone with Alexa Bliss or Nia Jax, because this way round it just feels bizarre, feels weird, feels a bit underwhelming. It's nice for Bayley and it's right for Bayley that she gets to debut, surprise debut. Her music gets there, she comes out, it's on a pay-per-view. I'm fully on board and I can see the kind of problem, but it didn't have to be this way. They could have done a million other things, and for me, Bayley has to go to SmackDown. That SmackDown roster is so much weaker than the Raw one. I mean, from a number of champions point of view, from a charisma point of view, it really is weak. It needs a big name, and I do think that Bayley is a big name. She's certainly one of the biggest names down in NXT. She'll be a big name on the main roster. She has to go to SmackDown. But interestingly, Sasha, Charlotte, Dana, the other people in that match at Battleground are all Raw. I'm just worried that she'll get sent that way as a result. I don't think she will, because again, looking at the numbers, there are 7 women on the Raw roster. There are 6 on SmackDown. There's a place for her on SmackDown. Fingers crossed she goes that way. The final thing that I have written down, which was a bit quirky, was that Monday Night Raw is the home of the cruiserweight division. We were told this on Raw by Steph, yet their picks don't seem to kind of support that. There are certainly some smaller guys. I don't know if the likes of Darren Young, for example, or Bo Dallas or Curtis Axel make the right weight limit. I think the weight limit for the Cruiserweight Classic is 205 pounds. I don't know if they're around that ballpark. I would have thought they're bigger. But the problem they've got, Raw, is that they've selected Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Rusev, Kevin Owens, The Big Show, Sheamus, Titus O'Neil, Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman. Where's the cruiserweight division in all of that? It's absolutely crazy. I don't know how they're going to support, you know, this heavyweight division and this cruiserweight division, as well as a tag team division and a women's division. That's asking a lot. So I think that they've got options though. I think that Raw came out of it easily the stronger of the two. Can't wait for next week to see what the staging's going to be like, how they're going to set up the show, the structure of it, what they're going to do in regards to creating extra championships. Are we going to get some new tag teams formed? I wouldn't think so. What are they going to do? Number one contenders matches. What's it all mean for SummerSlam? Questions galore. To be honest, was disappointed with the draft, but I will do a separate review video after this. Would appreciate it if you'd obviously join me for that. And also you can check out all of the Smackdown live televised draft round reactions. I filmed the whole show, and then I've cut it all up into just the draft parts, and then I've got all those videos out there for you as well. Cool. Thanks a lot for watching this. Really do appreciate it. I'd love to know if you saw anything else that was a bit quirky about the brand split, the brand draft, and what your thoughts are on it. You can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Days UK, and also on Facebook with that login, that address, that username is the word I was looking for. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, it'd be really appreciated if you did. And I think that's everything for now. Thanks a lot for watching. I've got obviously loads of videos on the way because this is the new era. So hopefully I see you again next time. Bye for now.